All right. Looks like we're all set. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. Happy Wednesday to everyone. And it's July 20th, 2022. And we're starting to really kick off with some strong earnings in regards to more volatile stocks. A couple of market making stocks are coming up this week. We all know Tesla is tonight, and then next week we certainly have our major tech players. So, wanted to cover some dynamics inside of Netflix's option market for today. I know a lot of traders will be focused in on an earnings play like Netflix, which did have a gap up into its earnings. Still within its expected move, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. And overall, we have some expectation of what's going to occur over the next couple of days based on how the market priced Netflix's options. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off, let's take a look at where Netflix closed yesterday. Market was overall quite bullish on yesterday's session. We actually had a kind of a line in the sand in regards to the previous session, which was that very aggressive reversal in the S&Ps. The expectation was that if bears could defend something like the CPI highs or maybe some of the previous resistance levels in the NASDAQ, then overall we could see some possible short play with the fact that we had so much room for the bears to kind of take back over. Unfortunately, none of that came to fruition. Market was pretty much net correlated yesterday, and we had a strong rally across most of the market, Netflix notwithstanding. Now, Netflix was able to kind of close around 200. Psychological price, a little bit of a draw in the option market as well. And when we're looking at what price it goes into earnings, that's where we start to get a sense of the expected move for the actual earnings reaction. One thing I like to do if I'm really targeting an earnings play, and especially if the earnings is mid to late week, because the market can move from when the options are priced at the beginning of the week compared to the day of earnings. I often like to kind of compare and contrast. Are we seeing higher implied volatility? And is that keeping the expected move sort of pinned at a certain relative range? Or is that starting to fluctuate relative to Friday's closing price of a prior week? So one way you can do that is, just take a look before the earnings come out. In this tool, you can actually look at it inside of a think back functionality. And if we go to, for example, Saturday, where I know the market is fully closed, we can see that Netflix started off this week with an implied IV of about 140% and an expected move of about $28. Now, when we look at how the market has evolved over the next couple of sessions where the market is moving, we can see that that number is increasing. The IV is going up into the earnings announcement because of the implied risk and the uncertainty of the move itself. You can see that it jumps up to about 206% come Monday. And then, of course, yesterday, this was one of our highest readings. We got to approximately 250%. And that'll match what we're currently seeing as the market is not quite open yet. Now, you'll also notice that the expected move didn't really change too much. It went from about 28 to about 32, all the while the implied IV was going higher and higher. And this is more relative to the pricing of Netflix at the beginning of the week versus what it was priced at into earnings, its share price. You'll notice that we started off on Monday close to that 200 print. We drew down slightly, down to about 190, and then yesterday we were able to recover. So overall, if I'm just looking at the close on Friday, I'm looking at about a $28 expected move. It puts highs and lows similar to what we do on the SPX. And you can simply mark that out based on plus or minus about $28. You compare that to yesterday, where the IV was much higher, and yet the expected move only deviated by a couple of extra dollars. It showcases that while the market share price is moving, there's much more uncertainty and obviously the pricing model of options being allocated to that series. Even though we're starting to, in this case, actually get higher in our share price. So they're keeping the bounds of the expected move within a certain price range, but in order to pay or basically hedge any sort of risk, whether it be upper or lower, you have to pay more. You know, the premium goes up significantly.
Hey, look, it's your
into
heater and
that
air conditioner.
known event. So that's kind of the model that most earnings will take, especially ones that are highly participated in. You'll notice that yesterday, pretty much a net put, I would say, the market was mostly engaging in puts relative to calls. There's a lot more puts being transacted yesterday. And you'll notice that they were quite heavy on the 0 to 20 delta side of the market. 71% of puts yesterday in Netflix came basically from a speculative perspective. And usually what that means is there was a lot of hedging. Market participants have seen what Netflix earnings have been over the past couple of releases. They know that the market can easily gap down 2 to 3 sigmas relative to the expected move. And all of the IV notwithstanding, they're still willing to pay for that hedge. They're willing to basically say, you know, the risk to the downside is so high that they're going to pay for that type of insurance. Now, obviously, there was some call buying as well, but just from a percentage perspective, things were a bit more spread across multiple deltas. So what this does, and you can look at this information if you have something like Thinkorswim, you can look at this prior to earnings. You can get a sense of most market participants are fearful. They're looking at the potential of a strong gap down open. And if there's 0 to 20 deltas outside, they're probably looking outside of the expected move. No matter how elevated the expected move tends to get, if you're between 0 and 20, you're probably looking at about a 2 sigma or more type of breach, and basically protecting yourself against it. So now let's look at what the option market actually participated in. And that's where we go to our volume and open interest analysis, where we're simply looking for some of the higher nodes of participation. What's great about this is today, these players, you know, these participants are the ones that are going to more or less drive some of the market making participation. If we have some high value nodes in the option market, especially since we're in a sort of newer price range for Netflix, we can get a sense of the volume profile before it forms. And this allows us to maybe anticipate some reactionary play, along with where would the initial value for this market live. And that'll, you know, hopefully give us a little bit of edge along with our price action and technical analysis on the intraday. So a couple of standouts is we closed at 200. We had about a $32-ish expected move. And one thing you want to look at is, was there a lot of participation 30 points higher and lower from yesterday's close? The argument here is that we did have high OI at about 230. And if we look down on the put side, we also had some relatively high put participation at about 170. So players were actually targeting the expected move. And you compare that to nodes around it, these are some of your higher value nodes. Given that we're gapping up, however, we may want to stay more focused on the call side because we know what price range we're kind of playing within. And we can see, okay, 230 is something like a top-end target. If the market were to rally very strongly over the next couple of days, 230 could be the ultimate target. And all you're doing is testing the upper bound of the expected move. You can also see that there's some participation between about 220 to 225. And usually when I see a range like this, I often want to think about getting inside these price ranges, back testing to confirm some sort of support. Let's say 220 were breached to the top side. We'd want to maybe come back in, confirm that, and it allows me to maybe plan around playing a $5 range with the understanding that there's going to be some back and forth trade as these participants are unwinding their position. You combine that with where we are right now, 215, so our at the money strikes. Really not a lot of put participation here. This would have been in the money puts at the time of earnings. And you start to look, okay, well, let's say we fade this morning. Let's say the market is not bullish. We maybe reject some sort of technical levels that we'll take a look at in just a moment. What would be some downside targets? Similar to between 220 and 225, 2 participation. So if I'm aggressively short and able to maybe get a position that is working around 215, then 210 might become a range area that will have a lot of trouble breaking initially because, once again, market makers want to stay where value lies. And even though we can't quite see it yet, this is where some of the option value happens to be. Now, if we really break down, if we, let's say, just give a lot back and fade for most of the session, breaking 210, looks like my audio got broken. Let's see. So that's on both YouTube. Let me, okay. We're gonna do an audio reset real quick. Okay, testing audio. Better, still cracking, or just good? Okay. And looks like YouTube is good as well. Okay, so sorry about that. I saw some of the messages coming across, but basically what I was saying is between 215 and 210 is another value range that we might want to consider, especially if we reject around 215. And really what I'm showing here are zones where the market could trade between. So if you're a range trader, someone who likes to kind of know where some potential support and resistance are, you often need players around these price levels. You'll notice though that between 215 and 220, there's a lack of participation. And what I like about these zones is, let's say we break out from 215 with some conviction, I wouldn't really expect a large selling presence until we got to 220. That range is open-ended and therefore somewhat low volume. And if you have participation leading you higher, from 215 to 220 can be somewhat of a trending range, somewhere where you don't expect back and forth play, but more or less a transition going from one value area in the market to the next. So it's more about planning scenarios here. 215 to 210, possible trading range back and forth, and on the intraday time frame, that's advantageous. 215 to 220 possible transition range allows us to maybe look for strong trends and something that can get us into a possible move up to that target. And if we are in between 220 and 225, similar conditions, but we would need to enter into 220. Kind of think of it as the bottom of a trading range for now, which should resist price initially. So this type of OI analysis, and also where the volume comes in, because remember, this is just what participants did yesterday or into the earnings. These are people who still have open contracts. Today's volume is much more advantageous. It's obviously something that we'll be looking towards today, but we combine that with our technicals. So now we're looking at Netflix itself as a trading chart. And what we see is we're gapping up to about 215. And I've gone ahead and marked the low end of this particular candle, which is about 212.51. So we've gapped above the previous earnings sell-off candle, one of the higher volume candles that Netflix has put in. Conceptually, if I'm using technicals here, one of the better risk to reward plays is that Netflix actually pulls back. We pull back into approximately 212.50, set up bullish near this area, and if we're still bullish on the session, we actually break through 215 and some of our pre-market structure that we currently have. You know, obviously, all of this pre-market right now is ambiguous as to whether or not it's going to hold. Are these market participants going to, basically provide further upside? And because it's a gap up open, I'm obviously looking a little bit bullish until proven otherwise. But that 212.50 from a technical sense might be a line in the sand. This would be where, let's say someone had participated inside of the earnings day and has held a position throughout all of this consolidation, basically being underwater for most of that time. Now, obviously, there's a lot of participation underneath us. This 212 area, we'll go ahead and pull up the last 360 days. And let's do 180. Let's do 90. That'll capture everything. I'm really just looking to see what happened throughout this entire quarter. You'll notice there's a VPOC much lower than this, about 187. For now, that's not going to be as relevant because we do have a catalyst. But we're gapping into a possible trading range that was established post earnings, one that broke down, and we've obviously been seeing a lot of characteristic trading between about 190, put it about right here, or sorry, a little bit higher, about 200, 205 down to about, I think about 165 at the low end, 162.71. I'm using the low exactly. So that area is back and forth. It's a lot of buyers and sellers. Those sellers are obviously wrong today. They'll have to make certain decisions as to whether or not they want to relinquish any short positions or obviously get out of any possible downside trade. But the bulls have a lot of proving as well. They have to set up bullish and continue what has been an uptrend. Basically the hourly uptrend as a guide and our catalyst for today, hopefully setting us up for some continuation. So these concepts, the option market giving us a sense of where value could be, because for now we're in a bit of a newer range. We haven't been here in a long time, and there is some high value node participation post the previous earnings. If the bulls want to continue the rally, they kind of have to establish themselves long at a previous support level, one that you can kind of spot around the low of the previous earnings. They have to hold that level and ultimately provide some upside in regards to a daily trend or an intraday trend we can take advantage of. Otherwise, the fade potential and the possible rejection of this upper bound is still on the table, and showcasing where some of those downside targets would be. You want to be thinking about typically about every $5 is going to be an important decision. 210, 215, and 220 are some of our closer nodes, some of which are of higher value. And technically, just based on OI, 210 is our stronger call node. So a fade to 210 could easily be in play, especially since, for now, we haven't really seen any volume to indicate one way or the other is going to win in the pre-market. So these are some things to consider today. Volume today matters much more. If markets are participating a certain way, even if it's choppy, the volume will tell us one way or another. But putting a game plan together based on the earnings itself, the fact that we're going to have a lot of volatility decay or contraction after the earnings is now released, that'll obviously drive some decisions as well, because you have a lot of people who bought hedges. Those hedges are essentially worthless at this point. As we saw, there was a lot of 0 to 20 delta puts purchased yesterday or transacted yesterday. Those are going to basically decay down to nothing. And of course, those who sold them will obviously be able to walk away with some premium decay. Those who bought them either don't need them, their positions protected, or they speculated down to a lower price and were wrong. So those participants will leave. They may start to actually participate topside, and we should see that volume participation today. So last note, remember as well, if you're using options today for Netflix, if that's your instrument of choice, remember some of the dynamics around earnings in regards to volatility contraction. Whenever we have an IV this high, 250% is extremely high for an earnings, especially for a stock like Netflix. It just tells you that the pricing was heavily influenced by Vega. So all the premium that we saw yesterday and today, a lot of that was baked in due to the high IV. You can almost see that if you're looking independently at different strikes. I don't think this IV reading is accurate on the put side. It might be, but I didn't realize the skew got that bad. Might actually be correct. Regardless, though, this is going to drop off today. And when you're looking at how much premium can be lost during an IV contraction, it's very notable, especially when the stock is not moving and all you're seeing is that decay takeaway premium. It's a little bit of a caution in regards to buying contracts today when the stock is not moving, or if the stock is somewhat stalled out. Because what you'll see is, even though you're maybe in the money or even slightly out of the money, and the stock may even be moving in your favor, you still won't have a lot of profit coming into your premium because you're fighting the headwind of volatility contraction. One way to calculate it is to look at your Vega for all of these contracts. If you're anywhere near at the money, a day trader would obviously like to maybe buy around 215 to 210 for any sort of transitional trade. They're having to fight a little bit of the IV today, whatever it comes down to, whatever it reduces to by the end of the session. That's going to be a headwind of making any money as a debit buyer. So be a little cautious today. Options are great tools when your stock is moving. We obviously expect Netflix to move today. It's even moving down slightly this morning. I can see we're trading lower from that 215 test. All of that said, you can be right in your direction and still not quite get the profit potential you want, depending on how much time it takes for the trade to work out. So you almost want things to be quick if you're a debit buyer to counter the Vega decay that you're going to experience. And just as an example of how much this matters, let's say, for example, we see that the option market comes down on IV to about 150%. Let's say we start the day at 150%. That's 100% down from yesterday's readings. So most of our Vega readings are about 0.07. If we take 100 and we multiply it by 0.07, should be pretty obvious. It's about $7. So most of these contracts will be losing approximately $7 if the IV goes down 100%. And when I say that, I mean relative to the IV reading, not all of it going away, but another 100 percentage points. So that's something to consider at open. But let's say it also goes down another 50%, or let's even just say 25% today. So another 25 times 0.07, it's $1.75 a premium that may just erode in regards to Vega decay or volatility decay. That has to be considered if your stock is not moving. So if the stock is kind of maybe within a $1 to $2 range, losing $1.75 a premium is a big detriment. You're not going to be able to make any money. So you really need the stock to be moving somewhere in the magnitude of $2+ and that's just if the move is occurring throughout the day. This is obviously kind of speculating what the IV could do. For the most part, we'll see how bad the contraction is today as people start to unwind these positions. So it's something to always consider. You don't ever know how bad the IV contraction will be, but you can look and see what some previous readings are. If you're looking at something like implied volatility studies, which I'll just go ahead and add here. So most of the time, Netflix trades around a 70 to 80% IV. We're at 250 right now. So imagine it coming down to somewhere around that level. It's definitely within the realm of possibility. You can even look at next week's IV, which is also elevated based on earnings, but this is likely going to reduce as well. So this IV contraction, and comparing it out to something where there's little to no risk of some sort of catalyst, just your normal IV readings, this drops down to about 90, 80%. We expect that to occur in this series, maybe not as dramatically because there's only a couple of days, but it is going to drop. And that's a headwind as a debit buyer if you're using calls and puts. It doesn't matter the direction. So understand those dynamics. Netflix is obviously going to be a stock in play. If you're using shares, if you're just trading the underlying, the option world gives us an idea of some ranges to play. If you're using options, just be careful on what the Vega contraction looks like, volatility contraction, and know where some of those players are, because we might get stuck there for a while as we start to unwind some of the option premium. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market, a little bit of just option focus today, changing it up from our normal analysis, and hopefully it's been beneficial. We'll see how the stock plays today, and we have some game plans for pretty much any direction and any bias that we want to take. So stay safe and stay tuned for pre-market prep.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday, which you should have if you were thinking long. That's for sure. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning, brother. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. All right, guys. Let's get into it. We're trying something new, by the way, on the website to see if this is going to work and not cause any issues for us on our end. So just bear with us if you see something funky. Let us know. But just consider a beta for now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, there you go. Don't
All right,
ever call
guys.
me a beta again.
Yes. Here's our gappers list at the moment, guys. A little bit in the green. Mara and Riot. I don't know about Riot and Coin, but Mara continues, man, to impress big time. Huge day yesterday, obviously. We got Netflix in here gapping up. A great earnings play yesterday. So these four doing real good. But again, the majority of the stuff on here is just Bitcoins type plays. These coins are doing really, really good. So we'll get into all of that. On the gap down, we see a couple of EVs here. I saw Neo earlier, I think, as well. But again, a couple of EVs on the way down here. We'll see what's going on there. Double digits, 12 down 12%, 10%. We'll see what's driving that. But again, big day today to see, are we going to continue on this momentum, Norm, as far as the overall SPY, or are we coming back down?
I don't know. I got made fun of on Monday when I was tweeting about the market being up and having legs, as it was then immediately reversed on me and went the other way. But I really think, man, there's so much bearishness right now. I've never seen a market through, interested in trading financial markets where so many people thought the market was going to go down when it kept going down and essentially crashed. So we'll see. I don't know. It's an interesting time. I don't know. Maybe we get a little. We're sitting above the 50 on the SPY right now, or right at it on the daily. So let's see. Let's see how this goes the next few days.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
little economic data. I mean, we've got earnings coming up. Next week's going to be telling. We've got huge earnings next week. We've got good earnings this week. Next week we've got huge earnings. Not much data this week though, with existing home sales really the only thing coming out today. That's at 10 a.m. So let's see how we roll.
All right, excellent. Yeah, love earnings, man. Love it, love it. So, speaking of earnings, let's start with the first one. To actually, let's look at some of the stuff yesterday, and specifically for people like that think that short sometimes are bigger moves. If you were paying attention yesterday, guys, to the long side, there were tons of huge moves. I mean, let's start here with Mara. Right, because you usually hear the term, bears take the no, sorry, bulls take the escalator, bears take the window. And yesterday, it was the opposite, man. Look at this move here on Mara going from 10.25 to the end of the day around $13. Huge move there. We had Nvidia also rally nicely. Notice also what happens around 10:30. Keep that in mind right there as we go through this. Look at Nvidia also rallying all the way from 162 all the way to 172. Huge move there. Here's AMD as well going from 82 to 80, 86.50. I mean, tons of opportunities, a lot of breakouts, but notice around 10:30, 10 o'clock, many of these stocks start really to get going, right? So you'd see a little bit of a chop and indecision. Then 10:30, you get these really good moves. AMC was garbage, nothing to see there. But the rest of these are all very good. Look at Apple again at 10:30, at 10:30, 10 o'clock time frame. If you're struggling within here, guys, look at your numbers. Look at your data. If you're struggling within that first hour, first half hour, try waiting a little bit. We see this often where stocks pick a direction and they start trending very nicely and can be very aggressive. You do not have to be done in the first hour when it comes to trading, right? So just keep that in mind. So a lot of great moves happen after that first initial hour. So just a great overall day yesterday. The market was loving it. A lot of stocks were loving it. And we were also loving it as well. So pretty good stuff. Let's get rid of this. You know what I forgot to look at, and I had it on here, IBM. Let's see what IBM did here. And I forgot to look at it yesterday. Yeah, this is why we don't really watch it. There's not bad two candles here.
Gonna
That's
check
about
GE
it.
too.
What happened?
Are you
GE?
gonna check GE too?
I should check GE, but
No,
just
you
to
shouldn't.
confirm myself that this is garbage. Oh man! All right, guys. Baba was interesting for the first couple of minutes here. So, but yeah, let's get to our list. Let's Control A, Control X this thing out of here, and then we will look at our gappers list this morning. and see what's happening there. So starting with the big one here, guys, Netflix, just a huge earnings play for them yesterday. Today they're giving a little bit back, right? Still up 6.2. I mean, it was a big play, guys. This guys went from 200 to 225, I think was the high yesterday. We'll see if they can hold that today. Or we're going to come back down to reality a little bit here. Norm, I think they said they lost like 1 million members or something, but that was still good. Did I read that correctly somewhere?
Well, I mean, they've just been so beaten down that anything short of not going out of business, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out.
All right, so we'll see Netflix here, guys.
There were
1
some
million shares
positives. There
traded.
were obvious. There were some negatives in there as well, but it was
Yeah,
better than the
yeah.
last report.
So looking good right now, guys. Up 5.3. High of this thing is it was 225, so we're just giving some back this morning. I'm sure people that probably were stuck are taking some profits here, or getting out of their position. Here's Mara, a huge day yesterday. Today they are up another 4%. I mean, they're just ripping. Is it up because Bitcoin is Bitcoin like taking
That's
off here?
crypto overall. Yeah,
Crypto
I mean,
overall, yeah.
Bitcoin's had a nice bounce in the last few days. It was super strong yesterday. So, yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff happening for them there, and you're seeing a lot of these tickers follow suit here. But Mara seems to be the best trading one at the moment as far as the volume and how clean it has been. So we'll keep Mara on deck too here. Mara is good, 2.4 million shares traded. Now that's the type of volume we want to see on Mara. You can look at coin as a secondary. They do have some good volume here, 300,000. But for the most part, I think Mara is the one that's got it really going on. We'll take a look at what's gapping down today. RVMD. This is down 12%, but looks horrible. Some type of medicine ticker here. Doesn't look great at all, guys. Again, just not fun. BBWY. Another
It's
one.
a biotech with a secondary. So run.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. This is BBWI, Bed Bath,
No,
no,
Bath and
Bath
Body Works.
Body Works. Okay, it's a different company. All right. So this one here, guys, this is down 8.6. Doesn't get great volume. Pre-market looks pretty quiet. It is a nicey stock, so I don't know if they're going to pick up the volume later on. I'm not sure what the
They
catalyst is on
pre-announced
this.
with some pretty terrible guidance.
Yeah, okay. So, well, we can put them as a possible. Let's see if they get the volume. They are nicey stocks, so it doesn't look great right now. But I do like the gap down of 8% right now on this one. Here's Lee. Lee's got some volume here, 235,000. I like the daily on Lee for a possible breakdown here. We do have shares for sure. This looks really weak right now, 3 million. So that's pretty decent. And yeah, Lee could be interesting. But let's see what happens here. I have not looked at Lee in a while, but and this is the reason why there's no reason to look at Lee. Look at the way these candles have been forming. But this breakdown here, this could be nice. Could be nice. ABT today, we got some good volume on this, 618,000. Normally not a great trader. Any news today, Norm, on this bad boy?
Yeah, they had earnings this morning, but as you said, not a great intraday trading ticker, so not on my top list. That's for sure. Maybe on the side, just in case. I think we're gonna have a good enough day that you don't need that.
Yeah, I agree. We'll throw it on the bullpen here just in case we need it. CARH. Oh no, this is not good. We don't even want this near the ballpark. This is not in play at all. Let's get rid of that. That's horrible. XPEF this morning, they are down 2.3 to 160,000. Volume could be better. I wish the volume was a little higher. How about Neo? Let's see what's happening there. Neo is also down a bit here, 1.5. So it looks like all these, is it Chinese companies or is it the EV companies taking a hit?
It's specific to Chinese EVs and some
Okay.
issues there. So
Yeah, because I don't see Baba gapping down today. So Lee could be interesting. Neo, again, we still have those issues with Neo. I don't know whatever came out of those claims, but could be a good one today. 600,000, also losing a key level of support here. This could be interesting alongside Lee, but I do like Lee a little bit better today. Last one on our list is MT, which is a foreign company, and ticker usually doesn't trade very well. So yeah, no on this. I don't see anything good there. Okay, Norm, what do you like this morning?
I'm gonna stick with what I gave you yesterday for the most part. I still am, and they're not doing much right now, but Nvidia, Obviously been in play last few days with news that's been going on. AMD, potentially Apple. So, I mean, Nvidia's flat right now. AMD roughly the same, but I have a feeling they'll get cranking later today.
Yeah, but even though AMD is flat, I mean, just look at the movement already in the pre-market. You got a lot going on here, so this could be good. And Apple has, has proven over and over again that they can start pretty crappy and put in an amazing day. And their daily continues to impress you. Really clean day. Look at the candles you're getting here. How wide these candles are on the body is real nice. So that is looking good there. Okay, excellent. Let's get to the chat room, guys. What do you guys like today? Again, so far we got a very decent list here. Let's take a look at Tesla by Alfredo. Let's start there. Tesla this morning down, up slightly, 783,000. I'm not seeing anything huge on
Earnings
it.
after the bell tonight.
Okay, so tomorrow. Yeah. We'll look at this tomorrow. Again, we get the question a lot.
I like it at the top of that
Yeah.
range right there. I mean, it has potential if it starts to get going, if people start getting into it anticipating. Yeah, it's not usually my play, but Tesla can move. That's for sure.
Yeah, it really can. So let's see. We'll put as a pause for now. Tomorrow for sure, we'll be watching it. Tonight, I'm sure Ed will be trading this one as well. So again, looking really good there. Tesla is good. Let's head on over here. What else you guys have? AMD's on deck. That's good. BA was good yesterday. Norm, you called this out. Traded very well. And notice how not bad, but the pre-market activity was basically non-existent. This is called knowing a stock, right? You know how BA trades. You know they sit in the New York Stock Exchange. They don't get a great pre-market action. There was some good news on this because of the possible buys, right? You mentioned, Norm. I think some possible orders. So that did very good yesterday, and today we'll see. We'll see if we can get some kind of continuation on it. BA on there. Netflix we have on deck. Tesla is good to go. Okay, excellent. Over on Twitter, do we have anything here?
On Twitter or YouTube?
YouTube, excuse me, YouTube. Yeah, you know what? Thinking of Twitter, just in case. Let's check it out. It's in the back of my head, so let's check this out. It is not doing anything at all right now, so pretty quiet as far as volume. Fabio, CCL. We'll take a look at CCL here. What did it do yesterday? I know that again. It should have. See, even with such a great day we had, it is something here in the pre-market. It wasn't that clean, right? Compared to like an AMD, an Apple, a Mara, Nvidia, you could definitely watch something better. So I think these travel companies are, even though with things being positive, they're just struggling, man. And like, I think, who was it? Either Peter, someone said just air travel right now is broken. and it really is.
I'll tell you something interesting, man.
Yeah.
And I'd mentioned this on the show before. I tried to go to Italy, book a flight around early May. Coach to Italy, DFW to Milan, was $5,000 a seat, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, coach.
Wow.
I just booked a flight, DFW to LAX, less than $500, and that's low for here because of the way American Airlines kind of has a monopoly on this market.
Yeah.
And that's for next month. Things have dropped off precipitously. I'm curious to see what happens with these coming up.
Yeah. It's been crazy. It's been insane. So yeah, let's see how it goes here.
So I apologize if I mispronounce this, but Maraba, she said it's because of gas prices. It's the tiny bits because of gas prices, but it's pent up demand from people not being able to travel for 2 years. That they don't care what they were spending to get somewhere to go on vacation. Now that's all over.
Yeah.
Now they can't afford to go on vacation because of inflation.
Yep. You're just not getting the same volume, nowhere near. And these planes, and let me know how your travel is. I mean, they're packed. When I went to Vancouver, there was not one seat in the house. It was just insane. So, all right, cool, guys. I think we're all set here. We have a pretty decent list. Netflix with earnings yesterday, gapping up nicely today, trying to hold here up 4%. Mara, Lee, Nvidia, AMD, and Apple, which these three can trade very well almost any given day here. So looking good so far. BYND. Let's take a look at BYND. It caught me off guard a little bit there.
Dan says, I'd rather go to Olive Garden than $5,000 to Italy. I love it. I'd
Oh
also rather
man.
go to Olive Garden than go eat this. But hey,
Oh yeah, any day of the week. BYD. I don't see anything happening here. I had a couple of days here. I mean, they've been trending higher. Obviously, 25 to 37. It's been a good move here on the daily. Just not much happening pre-market, so we'll have to wait. And if you look at this daily again, I think both of these days we had a push on the SPY, I believe. So there were other stocks that were trading as similar as this one. So I won't give them too much credit for this yesterday. They're not going to get that. You could have traded anything else, and you could have done very well. So let's see what happens today. Unless they have their own catalyst, which I'm not aware of, we'll see what takes place. And last one here before we go to our announcements, guys. I saw NVAX by Levy. Let's look at NVAX. Usually not the best trader, and today they're pretty much flat completely right now. And they had a nice day here. A couple of really good runs on early July, but since then the volumes come back down a little bit. So I don't expect anything great out of this. And again, no credit for this because you could have watched anything yesterday that could have done that. So I don't see anything great on it today. Those are my reasons for that. So all right, guys, I think we're set. I love this list today. It's not crazy. Gappers list, nothing new is on here. And yeah, they could be okay. Our secondary list, BBWI, ABT, NEO, Tesla, which can be gray, and also BA. So yeah, I think we're set, man. Let's keep it simple. Let's head over to our website. Let's see what's coming up for the rest of this week. We had a great closing bell show yesterday, guys. Make sure you're keeping up with those. We're having another one today at 3:30. So make sure you sign in for that. And I think our guest is on Thursday, I believe. Tomorrow we have a guest, so stay
awesome,
tuned
guys.
for
Check
that.
out that show if you haven't seen it.
Yep,
They're doing an awesome job.
absolutely.
All right. Onboarding technology every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern with Carlos. Don't forget about that, especially if you're a new member or trial member. That is open to everybody. Go check it out. Get started off on the right foot in Bear Bull Traders. Next Tuesday, you will have Andrew doing his risk management strategy webinar. And then the following week is Eamon at 8 p.m. Actually, that should be 5 p.m. Eastern. We need to get that changed. I apologize. We do Eamon's webinars at 5 p.m. because it's brutally late for him, even at 5. So he's going to be talking about reading price action through candlestick patterns, then psychology. Tomorrow night, we are going to have tonight. Man, my days are off again. It's killing me. Mike, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, how to set up a psychology training plan. And then next week, 8 p.m., Randy, how developing your hidden strengths to transform your trading. Mentorship with John on Thursday at 11. Ed, 4 p.m. Thursday. He'll start with his after-hours trades at 4, and then at 4:30 is his actual mentorship session. Thor, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget about StockTradingSimulator.com, our free web-based trading replay simulator. Just go to StockTradingSimulator.com. You can sign up and trade for free there. And if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the room, use the promo code PreMarket24 to get a discount off the intro membership. That's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. It does not recur. It's a one-time charge after which it cancels, and you'll have to choose another membership category. Speaking of, you can still get the Elite Annual membership with half off and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed. Use the promo code REED50 to do that.
All right, excellent. All right, cool, guys.
Ed's going to be out this Thursday, I'm told.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Sorry about that. If he is, Ed's on vacay. Okay. Oh, well.
All right. We'll catch up next week.
You guys can amuse yourselves in the room while watching the closing bell show.
There you go. Here is Oxy. Someone mentioned Oxy, Melvin Rios. They can get going. I don't have them on my list yet, but it probably are better than any of my possibles on here. Or at least not Tesla, but maybe NEO or ABT. So we can add them as a possible for now. They can trade okay. All right, guys, let's get some levels set in here. We got a really decent list this morning. Let's start with Netflix. Let's look at some possible levels here, starting with low of the pre-market 209 82, so 209.82. Let's click on that, and let's also head up over here to 217.71. High of the pre-market there. Towards the bottom, we have a nice pop today, obviously because of earnings. We have this this level here, which is the next one. The closest one is going to be 207.59. So we'll slam a level there as well. Then below that, obviously, the highs and lows of the last two trades. There's a couple of really big days for Netflix here. But this is basically their bottom, their most recent low here, 170. And they had one move up from 175 to 190. Another one here yesterday from 190 to 200. Obviously, the overall market helped with that. And then earnings come in, and they were not horrible, right? They were not great, but they were not horrible. And any non-horrible news is going to create this kind of pop today, up 4.6, much higher earlier today. I think their pre-market high, I mean their after hours yesterday hit 225, right? 224.91. So we'll put a level there in case that's going to mean something if we do decide to come back up here. Right now, showing a little bit of weakness, selling off from the highs of the pre-market. This is going to be a good one no matter what it does today. I think long or short, depending on what it wants to do, I think we'll have some good opportunities. Now, if we were for some reason to break out of 225, which again, not looking great right now, 247 is your next level on the daily. Right, most recent daily on the daily. Obviously, we go back to the left. You probably might have to do a monthly because we haven't been down here. Netflix has just been crushing it in a very, very long time. So we're not going to go back there. But you got a couple of levels towards the top that I think you're pretty good with. Next, we're going to have Mara on deck, and Mara at the moment, great levels towards the bottom. I think we can still keep some of these. We have 1193, which is right over here, a couple areas of support and resistance. Then we have our highs and lows. This 1055, still good. You got a couple of days here, opening and closing right around there. So we'll keep these two towards the bottom. No reason to delete them. And then now we have our new levels, previous day close right on there. Low of the high of the day yesterday, right over there at 13, pretty much close to the previous day close. High of the pre-market this morning, we're looking at 14 on the dot, so we'll slam a level there. And then over to the left, let's see what we have here. The clean level here is going to be this one, right? You got tons of stuff happening right around 1572. You can see that there, how much action you have there. Towards the bottom, you do have the gap down here, small gap down of 1445. Just mark that. I think you're pretty set when it comes to Mara. A couple of really big days here for Mara. We had a span of 2 days, July 7th and 8th. We had a nice little pop here with increased volume. The last 2 days, we had an increased volume as well. We're seeing how great this thing has been trading. So let's see if that can continue. Very, very nice trading on Mara. Here is Lee, guys. I do like Lee for a possible short opportunity if we're going to be weak today. Looks like the Chinese EVs are not doing all that hot this morning. You can see NIO also. NIO's dropping 1.4. Lee is down 3.8. Has lost a good level of support here and is sitting at another level of support, which is marked by the low of yesterday, already losing that, or at least testing that. Let's see if we can lose that as well. If we drop some more, we do have 33.75 and then another one on here, 32.44 as well. Towards the top, I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market, 36.45, and then above that, you're pretty much set, guys. Highs and lows for the last two trading days there, you're doing pretty good. All right, let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia this morning had a great day yesterday. I mean, and even on, this would have been, wait, so it's Wednesday. This would have been Tuesday. Tuesday had a really, no, I'm sorry, this would have been Monday. It's only, oh man, that's it? Yeah, this had a really nice day. Yeah, Monday had a really nice day there too, although it doesn't show on the candlestick there. This was still very good, clean trading. Let's see if that can continue. Low of the pre-market, 169.54. High of the pre-market, we're looking at 172.43. We'll slam a level there as well. And then, we're struggling to get above this here. Obviously, a lot of resistance happening there. If we were to break out of that, we're looking at possibly 176.84 on the daily. Looks really, really good. If you look more towards the left, you can see how much support you have right on that level as well, right? A couple of days using that as major resistance there. So that is being confirmed quite a bit for you there. So Nvidia looks good, guys. Been trading very, very well. Volume this morning, 748. A little bit flat as far as gapping up or down, but the range has not been bad. We're up as high as 172, down to 169 now, so that's pretty good. Here is AMD at the moment. AMD, we do have a nice range as well, right? We've been up as high as 87 down to 85.70. So you got some movement in this stock, and you don't have great volume just yet, but 600,000 is not that bad for AMD at all to get started. Another one that has been trading very well alongside with Apple, which we'll look at next. I have the pre-market on AMD 87.08. Moving to the left here, we do have a couple of levels here. It's going to be 88.19, and obviously up here it's going to be 90.83. So that's pretty good there for AMD. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last two trading days got you all covered here. You are set there. Here is Apple. Apple's got an incredible day. Look at the breakout you've been getting here. Nice breakout out of this resistance area. Today we've broken out of it, but we're still sitting right next to this level of resistance, right? Where the previous day close is. And if you look to the left, it looks like we got a lot of touches on here as well. So this could be nice. If we can get another decent day, the SPY struggles to, now the overall market struggles to kind of get a couple of days together like this, right? A few times we've done it, we gapped down. We had like 3 green days here, but they all were gap downs, then rally, gap down, then rally. We haven't really had a nice rally back to back to back, right? So I just don't know if they have it in there today to break out of this area again and show some strength and to help these stocks get going. We'll have to see, right? We'll have to see. So we would like to see that, because obviously when that happens, you saw how great trading was yesterday. We had a lot of opportunities. So when the market is rallying like this and moving in one direction, it could be very, very nice. Apple, we are looking at 150.60, the low of the pre-market, the high of the pre-market, 152, right over here, 152, and above that on Apple, let's see, above that on Apple, we're looking at 155.74, great area of support, and then a little bit of resistance happening here. So that's a good level to have as well. In the middle of this, I think you have 2 days, might be slamming into the same level. Yeah, 153.22. You got just, again, minor support resistance. You got a little bit of action happening here. This day opening up around here, 153.22. So just, I will throw that on there just in case. I have a midpoint between the big level, which is 155.74. Again, you need another big move to get there. But if this market continues, it is possible. We've seen it plenty of times, right? So let's see what takes place. Possibles this morning, BBWI, not looking so hot right now. It's a nicey stock. I'm going to wait for the market open. We have ABT here, not looking so great. We have NEO, which actually NEO's not bad. 700,000 now, picking up volume here. That's not bad. We have Tesla as well on deck. Okay for now. BA, we gotta wait for the market open, but this has a lot going on right now. It's been trading very well. And then we have Oxy as a possible also for a potential breakout if we can get going above 63. Big day yesterday, like many stocks had for the most part. Okay, let's see what else we have. Can we set levels for AMC? Yeah, of course, we got time. Let's set level for AMC here. So AMC right now, I mean, you're pretty much stuck between the highs and lows here, right? So a lot of the levels are already set for you. Previous day close you have right here. So this is already, pretty easy on that end. But if you look at your high of your pre-market, and then we look at the low of the pre-market, which is going to be slightly above the previous day close, hanging out at 1644. I mean, I don't think you need to add much after this, right? I think you have some really close levels here that are taking care of you for the most part. If you look outside of the range of the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, you have this 1861, right, which is the top of this. We didn't get above 18, looks like, on the daily. So this is the great area of resistance, right? You have that there. You have a lot of support right in this area. I mean, it's an area, all this is support from this range. You have the ping pong action here happening, creating that support and resistance. And then towards the downside, you have the low of 2 days ago, right? And if you want to add another one, just in case we do decide to sell off today and come back to reality a little bit, 1465, right? 1465, another great level of support here. More support happening here, and when it fell down below this became an area of clear resistance, right, for a very long time there. So even when it got above it, it managed to slam right back down. So that's AMC for you. But keep in mind, guys, AMC is a ticker. Now, when it starts memeing, these levels are great. They can help you plan. But they might not respect them, right? This stock has just at times has no fundamentals at all. It just does whatever the hell it wants. Just be very, very careful when it comes to stock like AMC, GME, and any low flow stocks. They can run through levels or not respect them more often than like an Apple and AMD and Nvidia, Netflix are going to do, right? So keep that in mind. Was this the bottom for crypto? Some people think it is. Some people think that now, Bitcoin's not going to go to 200,000. I heard that over the weekend. So yeah, some people think this is the bottom and they're gearing up to do what they need to do. So it all depends, man, on what you believe that thing is going to do. Who knows? Who knows? I don't think it's going to happen, at least not anytime soon, but some people do, and it can. And I could be wrong, and that's okay. Listen, we're not going to catch every move. This is one move that I'm just like, I'm not sure about. But we're going to miss every move. I mean, how many people missed Amazon, right? And how many professional analysts were like, oh, this company's crazy, thinking they're going to take over, retail mortar brick stores. That's not going to happen, and they did, right? So a lot of smart people were wrong. So we're not going to catch every move. So you just gotta, you gotta decide what's your risk and what makes sense for you as an investor, as a trader, and go forward with that, right? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'll tell you, I'm not a personal. I'm not personally holding any crypto. No, no, no. I am not. Maybe I should, right? Maybe I should, but I don't know. It's hard to invest in something that you don't understand or get, right? I don't understand crypto. I don't understand how this is valuable. I don't get it. And I've seen plenty of videos. I understand how it works. I just don't get it. And maybe it's a mindset, old school mindset, so it's hard to invest in something you don't understand, right? For example, last year when we not last year, a few years ago we had the COVID drop. The first thing I invested in was airlines because I understand them. I know, okay, these four companies, Delta, American Airlines, United, Southwest, they're not going to go bankrupt, right? They got a monopoly in certain airports. It's just not going to happen. Matter of fact, they might eat up other companies that go bankrupt, right? They might merge with other companies and eat them up. So in United as well. So I invested in that because I know, okay, this is going to pop. I might have to hold for like a year or so, but this is going to come back. And also we had some other people too that did the same thing in our community that invested heavily in airlines because we knew, that business. I don't know crypto, man. So I don't want to put my money in that. All right, guys. And not saying there's nothing wrong with it. I just, me personally, I just don't do it for those reasons. All right, guys, we are set. We're early. We can answer some questions. We have time. Let's see what else we got here. Moderators are putting the list together. See Jared leading the way here with Netflix, AMD, Mara. And we got some shorts available on IB on Mara. Good. And no secondary list for Jared so far. All right, what else we got, guys? What else you guys like this morning? Our gappers list, FFEI coming into the gap up list this morning. Let's see here, up 2% right now. But man, this is a horrible pre-market activity. Horrible pre-market activity. I definitely do not like it. Pete, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's not about right or wrong. It's about the level of risk. I agree. I agree. I mean, I have friends that invested very early on, and they made a killing, right? When they were talking about just getting to 20,000, it was like, and they did very well, right? So, can it go to 200,000? Of course it can. What's stopping it from doing so? It's just like you said, the level of risk. How long do you have to hold? It all depends. Yeah, Chris, exactly. Yeah, that's part of it too. They won't let. Yeah. They want to keep that going. That's a big part of the economy. So you're not gonna hurt travel. At least they're gonna try to keep it afloat as much as they can. All right. What do you think the market stocks are so choppy at the open and then start to trend later in the morning? Penny, that's a great question. That's kind of what I mentioned earlier. If we look at the stocks for yesterday, right? And we have time 9:05. So if we look at Nvidia and we look at Nvidia yesterday, we look at the first hour of Nvidia, right? And then let's take a look over here at AMD as well. Let's look at that first hour. This is here to about what's 10:30, right over here, right? So let's mark this down. So we have here and we have here, right? That's your first hour. This is 10:30 right over here. So you see this choppiness, back and forth action. I think it's just people just decided, okay, what's it going to be? Everybody wants to get in. Everybody wants to make their bets early, but you're probably getting stopped out. A lot of back and forth action. It's a lot of indecision, right? So that's what it is. A lot of indecision happening. And then once things get going, and the SPY has a lot to do with that, right? Once the SPY gets going, then you have these companies following suit. But at that first opening bell, there's a little bit increase in volume. It's a lot of indecision. Okay, are we going long? Are we going short? Because it can go either way and nobody knows, right? There's nothing that tells you that, hey, it's going to be a good day today, a green day. It's going to be a red day today. There's some indicators. There's some potential information you can look at and say, okay, the possibility, right? Everything's a possibility. There's nothing 100% certain. And anybody that tells you that, you should question them very carefully. Nothing is certain in the markets, and we've seen that over and over again, right? Well, when we see earnings be all positive, a stock gap's down 30%, right? Because it's just nothing is for sure. Look at Apple here as well. At the first hour, a little bit of a choppiness, moving around the moving averages, then things start to settle down. You get the breakout. So sometimes, this is what I have a rule. If I get stopped out like 2 or 3 times in that first, 15, 20 minutes, then I got to stop. I got to take a break because I'm realizing you don't see it yet, because when you think about trading, right? And how much, let me know if I don't want to run out of time. So 9:07. If you think about trading, right, this is the information you have right here on Nvidia when you're about 9:45. This looks very weak. I'm thinking about going short here. There's nothing that tells me it's going to be positive, right? And look how quickly things change, right? You get this engulfing pattern here, right? Still under the moving averages, so this could still be a pullback. Now you start getting some confirmation that we're going higher, right? And then you come back down, come back up. I mean, this is tough to trade in something like this right here. This is really tough trading. There's no direction. Can you scalp it and make a couple of bucks? Of course you can, right? You got to have really, really good entries. You got to be in at 163.50 to make it to 162. So your entries got to be completely on point. You got to be in and out quickly, because you get in at 163.50. That is a great entry for 161.82.70. But guess what? If you're not out of that quickly, you're back up just a couple of cents away from your entry in the next candle. So you got to be aware of the type of price action you're getting. That's tough to do. You wait a couple of minutes. Look at this. Now we start trending. Right now we start trending nicely with a lot of opportunities. Not just here, right? Because you might not catch this, because you still can't believe you're still in this chop, but you might catch this. That breakout is so clean there. It's unbelievable. It gets a little bit extended. It gets a healthy pullback to the moving averages. Maybe you don't catch this, but you can catch the breakout, right? You can catch the consolidation. So there's just so many things you can do, after that first hour. So just keep that in mind. If you're getting stuck and you're being stopped out a couple of times, just wait a minute and for things to start trending. And of course, let's not kid ourselves. The SPY, this guy, overall market, has a lot to do with it, right? Look what's happening here, indecision. So what's everybody else doing? Also in indecision, right? And then you finally start trending here at 10 o'clock. Everything starts following suit. Some stuff started a little bit later, right? So although the market started moving at 10 o'clock, some stocks didn't start doing their thing. It's about 10:30. They're like, okay, are we really doing this? Or do we believe you? And they see it keeps going up. Okay, no, we're really going to do this now. We're not just chopping around. Let's jump on ship here and get going, right? So those are some of the things you can see. And the key thing is just be ready for anything that can happen. That's it. The market can just do anything. Today we can, push up to 405. I mean, that's not going to happen, but I don't think so. The probabilities are very, very low. But just be ready for anything that can happen with the market as possible. All right, we got our moderators list coming up here, guys. Before we let you guys go, we're sitting at 197 likes. So thank you over on YouTube for that very much. If we can get to 300, that would be great. Just 103 more. That will put us in the spot here. We'll bring our goal down to 300 because we do have our members now in our chat room. So now our ratio could be a little bit better. And if we can get to 300 from our YouTube viewers, we appreciate it very much. We appreciate you guys a whole lot. So, and it helps the channel, helps us get going here. It keeps me and Norm motivated, to wake up every morning and do this for you guys. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's good overall. And you could do that free of cost. We won't charge you for it, promise. All right, let's get into, all right, so now since I'm streaming, bear with me as I do this, because now I got to make some moves here. So I'm streaming in chat. I got to disable this video. And then I got to resize this to be able to bring this over without creating any problems. 1 second here. And guys, how was the feed on the chat room? Was it nice and clean? Was it no choppiness? Everything looking good? Let's bring this over here. There we go. Good, good, good. Super great. Okay, excellent. Very nice, very nice. Wow, 296. Thank you guys. Appreciate that very much. Very, very much. All right, let's look at our moderators watch list for today. We are looking at Jared, Netflix, at AMD, Mara. Some shorts available on IB for Mara. Watch the margin rate. Absolutely on that, guys. Some of these riskier type companies, your margin rate might be a little bit different. So that's a good point Jared brings up. We got a little bit of time. There was one gentleman one time emailed me say, hey, I'm trying to short. I think it was, I forget the ticker, but it was a ticker that the broker decides how much margin they're going to allow you to take on a specific a ticker if it's too risky for them. You see that a lot with GameStop. You see that a lot with AMC, especially towards the short side. So if you have 100,000 of buying power, right, 100,000 of buying power, they might not allow you to use all that 100,000 of buying power to short a GME, to get in a position short on GME. And this is just to protect themselves because they know how volatile and risky these stocks can be, right? So there's nothing wrong with your hotkeys. It's just they're not going to allow you to take that much buying power per margin on your position. Here we go. We have Susan looking at Mara, Lee, Netflix, secondary list Apple, AMD, and Nvidia. Dima will be looking at Coin, Netflix, AMD, and Apple today. Megan looking at PayPal, Tesla, Netflix, and Disney. Peter's watch list AMD, Apple, Netflix, and secondary list Mara. You can see Mara's coming up on back on our good side of the list here. Peter, no IPOs and no SPACs for today. We'll stick around and wait for to see if any other moderators has their list available. While that's happening, let's take a look at what we have on tradingterminal.com as far as earnings coming up for today. Obviously, we have Tesla, which is a big one. Some other companies here. Maybe some Discover Car we have today, Discover Financials. I don't see anything else that I'm really... Oh, Abbott Laboratories could be good. That was this morning. Actually, we have it here. And actually, that's the only reason why we have it here today. They're doing okay. We'll see what we can get out of that. The rest of the week, we have Snapchat, Capital One, SAP. What else? Travelers. We got a couple of names here. Next week, I know next week, guys. And again, you can get access to this calendar by tradingterminal.com. I'm just going to copy this and throw it here for you guys to make it easy if you guys want to visit this now. Tradingterminal.com/calendar. You can get this here. Next week, we have a blockbuster earnings week. That is for sure. We got Google, Microsoft, Facebook. Sorry, Meta. They should change this to like an M now. Why they don't change this to an M? Just put an M on this. Don't confuse us. And just be done with it. Visa, Coca-Cola, man, it's gonna be a bang up day on Tuesday, man. Tuesday is packed. We're gonna be busy on the earnings play there, so that's nice. Wednesday, a couple of telecommunications company. I see T-Mobile on there. That's nice. Shopify, Ford. See what's happening there. And Thursday as well, another great day. Apple, Amazon, man, oh man, yeah. I love earnings season, guys. I love it. So many opportunities. It's a great time to be a day trader when the earnings season comes around. All right, folks, we are all set. Our list is looking very good. Why the hell they changed their name to Meta? They spent a decade building that brand. Hey, man, I don't question a guy that's making as much money, has made as much money and good decisions as Mark Zuckerberg. I don't question him. Hopefully he's right. I want him to be right. It's good for us. Hopefully he's right what he's doing. But, these guys think on a different level, man. You have to change. If you don't change, if you stay the same, you end up eventually falling off the cliff. So he's doing the right thing by changing. Is he making the right decision on the decisions he's choosing, on the path he's choosing to go? We don't know. We won't know. This new, what's it called? The VR stuff and what is it? The virtual worlds. I forgot the actual name that they use. Metaverse. There we go. So we'll have to see, man. He's going to be either really right or really wrong. All right, guys. Here's Brian's list, and I'll get off the mic. AMD, Netflix, and PayPal for Brian. He's going to come on next and trade live for you guys. alongside Andrew. Guys, have an amazing day. Thank you for the 320 likes. We hit our goal. Our new goal now is going to be 300 since we don't have our members watching over on YouTube. And that's going to be a great ratio. I mean, 470 views and 320 likes. That's amazing. Love you guys. Appreciate you very much. Take care. Have a great day. Well, I'll see you in the chat today at 3:30 for the closing bell. So do not forget Artie and Andrew on the closing bell today. Let's meet there and talk about our trading day, see how things went, man. Have a great day. See you guys.